Okay, if everything has gone according to plan, we should be live on YouTube. Hello everyone and welcome back to Weekends with Avrona. I know it's usually a lot earlier than today. It's usually around like 6 p.m, 7 p.m. The reason why it is actually at almost 9 p.m. is pretty simple. If you follow me on like basically any social media, or basically if you're even in Discord, which you better be in a Discord, then you know that the pump in my PC died. So for a while I was just stuck using my laptop, and today I've spent a whole, well, maybe not a whole day, but a lot of it just getting it up and running. This right here, unfortunately, after weeks of just making strange noises and then kind of just stopping and like trying to go again and then stopping again and then trying to go again and stopping again, it finally gave it a ghost a couple of days ago. So huge shout out to AlphaCool for hooking me up with this right here, the VPP Apex. Thank you so much. It's, even though it's an EK, reservoir and pump combo, any kind of additional third-party ones like this one from AlphaCool work just fine, just a drop-in replacement, and it sounds great. Looks like it's doing fine for now. So again, huge shout out AlphaCool. Thanks so much for sending that over, because yeah, there's not much I can do with just my laptop. Even if I did add in a graphics card. If you haven't seen that video, by the way, it was the video from yesterday. Well, okay, it was actually yesterday. I think it ended up getting uploaded today, of just what my emergency setup looked like for a couple of days when I didn't have my PC. So basically just a laptop with a cooling pad so it doesn't reach 100 degrees the second I try to do anything, and then also an external enclosure with a ARC A770. Not the fastest card in the world nowadays, but at least it's something. At least it got me through the last couple of days. But now we're back. Now we're back. I can actually stream. I can actually edit properly at like proper real speed, not like 5 frames per second or whatever. Also, I guess happy Valentine's to all of you that celebrate, which, knowing my audience, probably isn't too many. But here's a fun story. A couple of weeks ago, I was just watching TV and I was kind of wondering, why does so many like Valentine's Day ads? Like, it's only the end of January. I swear that Valentine's Day is in March or something. Why are there so many ads? So out of curiosity, I looked up when exactly in March Valentine's Day is, and turns out it isn't in March, it's in February. It's on the 14th of February to be specific, which is today. So that's pretty much, that tells you everything you need to know about how much I care about Valentine's Day. So yeah, cheers. What's better to do on Valentine's Day than drinking? Anyway, a couple of days ago, I also did a video talking about the HP gaming laptop subscription. So I wanted to really delve a bit deeper into it, go through the options, seeing how good value they are, and if there's anything hidden in the contracts or the fine print, because it was a pretty, I'm pretty sure my opinions won't change, but it was, I think, a pretty surface level video as compared to things like some of the earlier NZXT ones. It was more of like a news video rather than a trying to do it myself and really playing around with the website kind of video like I previously did for that, like NZXT and kind of similar projects. So I really wanted to delve deep into this and see what exactly else we can find that I didn't mention in that video. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about that I thought, oh, that's a really decent use case for it, kind of inspired by my own recent issues, is that, oh, if you don't want to own a laptop, right? If you don't want to buy a new laptop, but you don't have a PC right now, your PC's broken, you're waiting for it to get repaired, and you just need something that has some performance to it, then you could just subscribe, get it for a month, $50 a month, just to continue doing your work. Or if you work in a media like myself, you go to an event like CES, Computex, IFO, whatever, and you need something more powerful, then you're just a regular laptop to edit on the go, or do whatever else you do on the go, and you just need something more powerful, and you could just grab one of these for a month and then just ship it back. That sounded like a pretty great advantage of this over owning a laptop, either by buying outright or doing the financing. But then I read the fine print. Again, that sounds like a great idea. Again, that sounds like something that would really help make this thing make sense. But it looks like you are locked into a 1 year minimum period, because there appears to be a penalty, right? If you cancel before a full year, you get to pay a penalty. So if you cancel within a month, it's basically like a trial period, right? You can do it 30 days risk free, so you can actually do some that I mentioned, right? You can actually do that, but if your situation, that whatever situation you're in that requires you to have a more powerful laptop or like have a laptop at all, if it lasts more than 30 days, then you get locked in, and then it's going to cost you hundreds of dollars a month, or hundreds of dollars just to cancel a subscription. So it's the same kind of thing that Adobe and a couple of other guys are doing nowadays, where they basically, even though it's a monthly subscription, there's still an early cancellation fee if you do it before like a year is over. So it's one of those, like, it's technically a monthly subscription, but not really kind of deals. So that's not great. Again, I like the fact there's at least a trial period. So, but I also want to know if it's a repeat thing. Because again, for the example I said, if you attend events in a year, like CES, like Computex, and you require potentially getting something like this multiple times a year, like, are you able to do it multiple times a year under the same name? Or is it just like a one-time thing? And then, you know, if you need it again, I don't know, maybe you could just like get someone to do it in their name for you. That could maybe work. I don't know. Someone's asking me, how long did you grow your hair? I haven't properly been to the barbers in, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years? I don't know. Something definitely closer to a decade than further from it, if that makes sense. Obviously, I get like the ends done every couple of months, but like actually to get it properly cut, yeah, it's probably been around a decade. So that's why it says long. I've been thinking of maybe cutting it a bit shorter, maybe like down to like my shoulders. I don't know if that will. The issue is I'm way too indecisive, and the thing with hair is, you have to commit to it, right? If you cut and then you don't like it, then you're stuck with an optimal haircut for how long it will take for you to grow it back. So I'm way too indecisive to do anything with my hair, to do any experiment anything, because I know then it's going to take forever. And especially with me, my whole job being on camera, I can't be stuck with I don't know what other term to use than like an optimal haircut, if that makes sense. Like a less ideal one, whatever. DC clone pump junk, yeah. I mean, it still did last me like over 2 years. That's annoying. That's the annoying part. It just died after the warranty period, because the warranty period for EK is 2 years, and this D5 pump from them just died, I think, like 2.5 years. Something around that. So that was kind of annoying. But again, the good thing about being a YouTuber, a tech YouTuber, is that you get companies sending you stuff for free. So again, shout out AlphaCool. Thanks. Without you, I would have to pay quite a bit to get it repaired. Now, thankfully, again, a good thing is that you can just replace the pump in this EKFOT blocks, because not blocks, the reservoirs, because the reservoir itself looks absolutely awesome, right? But a new one costs like 200 plus euros. So that would have been a much bigger investment. So thankfully, and also just the fact they have to like dismantle the entire loop basically. So thankfully, I was just able to basically drain it, remove the old pump, add in the new one, and that's it. Just a really easy drop-in placement. Anyway, back to this. Another thing that they talked about right here is a non-return fee. So basically, even though you, like it says here, there's no option to own it after a certain period, like you can still just keep it and pay a non-return fee. However, like I'm not sure, because there's like a monthly fee and a non-return fee. So is this? I'm trying to. Does this mean what I think it means? So if you fail to return, you'll be paying $1,200 for a Victus 15-inch, and then also $50 a month for every month you do not return it. So if you don't return it within a month, so you'll be paying $1,250 and then an additional $50 every month. That is a quite the late fee. libraries could learn from HP, it seems. That is actually insane. So this is just getting worse the more I look at it. Actually impressive, HP. Now, one other very interesting thing I learned about this when I was just kind of going through and kind of seeing what the whole process looks like is that you can actually also get accessories. And that includes not just like your regular stuff like your mouse or your headset, but also monitors. You can get straight up monitors. You can get a 27-inch monitor for $10 a month. It's not a great monitor. It's only 1080p. I wonder... here's something to check. I wonder if this is tied to the laptop selection, right? Because only offering you 1080p monitors isn't the best, but this is also on the worst laptop. So obviously they won't be offering you like a 4K one because this one won't be able to run 4K. If I get this Omen Max right here with 5080, will it then give me the option of getting something a bit better monitor-wise? If we go back here. No, okay, I was hoping that maybe it would. Just being stuck with two very entry-level monitors is not the best. Obviously, the thing is that with these monitors, I mean, they're laptops. And the monitors are there if you just need like an additional display. The monitor display will probably be your main one, given how these appear to have pretty decent displays. Just looking at up to 240 hertz, WQXGA maximum on that Omen Max 5080 model. So those will be your main display. Okay, so I'm not that terribly sad that they aren't giving you a better option. That'll just be like your secondary monitor for you to put like File Explorer or Discord on or whatever. But your main gaming will be done on this. But still, if you wanted just to have a laptop but then still have a proper display, it's more like a stationary laptop situation. I don't know, for like a couple of people who would want that, I think they could still be able to offer it, unless, I don't know, I'm not too familiar with HP monitors. Maybe HP Omen just don't even do monitors beyond 1080p. I actually don't know. If anyone could tell me, that would be fantastic, because I actually do not know what the situation looks like there. I don't follow too closely HP laptops of all things. Now, in terms of how competitive some of these configs are, I mean, the HP laptops, they're not too revolutionary in any right. You can get very similar things, but in terms of the performance you get, right? So for over $1,500 a month, a year, I mean, you can get yourself a Quattro 9. It doesn't say what. Like, if I go and see what specs does it give me? Hello. Oh, it just gives me the data sheet, really. I was hoping for like a nice comparison chart or anything. No, it's just documentation. That's kind of lazy. So it's not current gen. It's still previous gen, sadly, but whatever. I mean, it's still at 275 HX. It will still serve you well. It's still a 5080. It will still do really, really well. It's a 2560 by 1600 display, 240 hertz, 500 nits peak brightness. For over what's it gonna come down to, like $1,560 a year? Like, it's if you could keep it afterwards, that would make more sense. But like at that kind of price, like sure, it could technically, especially for a 5080 laptop, that is pretty decent. But just the fact that you're then stuck with it. Stuck into that subscription if you want to continue paying it. So it's the same thing with stuff like Game Pass. At one point it will always be better unless you use it a lot. At a certain point it will just make more sense just for you to buy the game rather than paying the subscription every month. It really just depends on what your plans are after the initial year is over. Obviously it makes no sense to get it between the trial period and a full year, because the fees are just so insane there, as you saw, that it makes very little sense, I think, to do it. Well, actually no, let's do the maths, right? So it's $1,560 a year if we were to cancel early, right? Then it would still come out to about the same. Okay, never mind. Huh. Okay. I thought that the early cancellation fees would be like much higher than the overall total amount per year. But no, it still doesn't make it worth it to cancel, right? Because you're still paying $1,560 just to use a laptop for 2 months. That's not a great deal by any stretch of the imagination. So again, you'll be either in this category where you're just doing it just for a month, or you're in this category where you're doing it for 13 months plus. And at that point, you may as well, if you buy, right, there are obviously advantages to that. Like, for example, you get to use it past the period, the break-even period. Though, of course, here they are trying to counteract that by the fact that you still get a free laptop upgrade every single year. With owning, you also get to sell it if you want to help recuperate the costs towards a new laptop. But again, they are trying to kind of make up for that by the 1 year upgrade cycle. So I don't know. Like, would you guys get this yourself? I'm genuinely curious. Let me know in the live chat. Would you guys get it? Because I'm curious. Like, there are obviously pros and cons, and I'm trying to. The more I'm saying all of it, right, the more I'm finding bad stuff about it, and the more I'm finding good stuff about it as I'm kind of saying it, as I'm kind of processing this information live. So I want to know from you guys: is it worth it? Would you ever give it a go, or is it even that it's HP and HP's laptops that you don't like? Because, like, sure, the laptops are probably decent, but there are definitely other companies that a lot of people trust more. So is it that you would prefer this kind of setup but with a different company? Another thing that I kind of don't get, and it's also kind of annoying, is that the best laptop is not the largest one. So if you want just the best of the best performance, but you also want 17 inches, well, tough luck, because you can either have, either or. You either go for the Omen 17, and there you only get a Ryzen 7 and a 5070, or you shrink down an inch to an Omen Max 16 inch, and then you get a Core i9 and a 5080. So that's also kind of annoying. Plus, this one is also lower resolution. Yeah, that's also kind of annoying from you, Omen, HP Omen, whatever. I kind of wish they went all out. Do they even make 18-inch laptops? If they do, it'd be great to basically have the entire stack. Obviously, anything lower than 15 would not make sense. I think for portability, for myself, I think 16 inch is that kind of perfect sweet spot. But again, 17 and 18 inch for people who want that. Give it to us, and don't give it as a cut down compared to the top model, which is still a 16 inch, which is also kind of annoying. So yeah, it's very, very confusing, and I still have no idea if it's good or not. Almost as if it's a nuanced topic, and the answer is going to be different for everyone depending on their own personal situation. I could very much see someone who just needs an emergency laptop because the machine broke, or because they're going to some event and they just need it for 30 days, then boom, they can get it, right? It's obviously so much easier and so much cheaper than buying one and like reselling it after the month's over. So in that situation, but that's only something you can do once, right? It's literally only something you can do once, and it's still going to cost you anywhere from $50 to $130 for the privilege of renting a laptop for a month. So I don't know. It's complicated. For anyone new, constantly wondering why I'm kind of looking up there, that's because that's where I have just my chat. That's where I have all of the stats. That's where I get to see if the live stream is actually going, if it all works, if we have hasn't crashed midway through. Thankfully, I don't have to worry about it, crashing because my pump died. That was the worst about it. It's just oh, let me just kind of finish this video, and then just the second that the RPM on a pump got a bit too high, it just crashed. So it also made streaming so anxious, because I had no idea if it's just going to give up. And obviously when a pump dies, you can't continue to stream, because your CPU and your GPU is just going to boil themselves. The water itself is going to probably start boiling. So yeah, that's all thankfully done now. Let's have a look. What if we go into this one here? Oh, this one doesn't work. Great website design, HP. Your big flagship new subscription system, and the buttons don't even work. So yeah, I'm really curious what you guys think. It's such a mixed bag. It could work. It could work at the same time. There's so many also kind of weird things about it. And just the fact that you get kind of locked into it after a month is also kind of annoying. Maybe it's just something that they need for this to even work, for this to even be financially viable for them to do. But the overall people are so against those kind of subscriptions, and we are also seeing, murmurs about maybe someone's doing something, stepping in to do something about these kind of subscriptions where they kind of lock, even if it's a monthly subscription, where there is some kind of obscene cancellation fee, early cancellation fee, and this constant kind of talk that, oh, maybe the EU will do something about it, hopefully, but we'll see. And then again, this right now, this whole thing, it only appears to be for the US market. So if the EU does something about it, then HP won't care anyway, because they probably wouldn't be importing this system to the EU anyway, because it just wouldn't be worth it. Plus, also, as I was doing research for that video, one thing I also learned is just how different the financing situation is. Like, obviously, by what I've seen online, I thought that the US would be just the kings of financing options. But when it comes to like really good, especially like kind of long-term and 0% interest rate financing options on websites for buying tech, like I was surprised to find a lot more of them in European retailers rather than American ones when I was kind of looking into it for that video. So that's also kind of surprised me. I know it's also the same case where they don't charge interest or they don't charge transaction fees in Europe for things like PayPal transfers. So you're kind of always stuck in a kind of weird, when you try to do a transfer on PayPal and just asks you, would you rather do it instantly for free, or have it take a couple of days and also do it for free? So yeah, that's kind of the reason why that is there, if you're wondering. It's because by European regulations, they basically, it has to be a free transaction. So yeah, that is pretty much gonna be my deeper dive into this. Basically, consider this whole stream a follow-up to that video. I'm still torn. I'm still very torn. So that's why I want to know what you guys thought of all of this. But in the meantime, I think that's gonna be pretty much it. Unfortunately, I don't have anything for to show you in terms of future projects. You pretty much saw some of the upcoming videos in last weekend's Avrona. So the shifting power supply from Lian Lee. Plus, also, there's going to be the video about replacing the pump and what the process looks like replacing a pump, and how you can use these kind of third-party things that aren't from the company where you purchase the pump and the reservoir block from. So yeah, that's also coming. That's also going to be cool, and I think that's going to be about it for this live stream, because it is getting pretty late here. So hopefully you like this kind of deeper dive into a topic from a video, just doing a whole live stream of it. I know it definitely wasn't the longest live stream in the world, but again, there's just not much else to really say about it. It's literally just subscription. Again, it was kind of interesting to uncover some of the other fine print about it. It is definitely, it's confusing. It's definitely confusing. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this live stream. If you did, make sure to subscribe, like whatever, and I'll see you all in whatever I make next. Goodbye, everyone. Good. Bye.